Good afternoon. The first thing I think I need to do is to deny any knowledge of what Ernestine Benedict had planned for today. I know that some of you are going to have to, when you get back to the office on Monday, have to explain why, after saying that you were here on business, there'll be a YouTube video with you standing up, rocking, rolling, and throwing your hands in the air like you just don't care, you know. I know it's going to be difficult to explain, and I'm just going to blame Ernestine. I'm saying I don't know what she planned, what she did, why she did it, but it was good. It was good. You know, Yoli Flores and I spend a lot of time traveling around the country talking and helping people to think differently about parents. And we try to take on this ambivalence we have about parents. And it's a long story, but we've sort of reduced it to a message that says that what we all have to do is to acknowledge that these parents know, care for, and love their kids more than the rest of us. And if we understand that our job, our role, is to help parents envision bold goals for their own children. Help them to envision bold goals and to create the opportunities where they have the experiences and the exposure to really push those goals. And the second thing we have to do is to find ways to support parents in attaining those goals for their own kids. And thirdly, we've got to find opportunities for parents to mark progress and celebrate success. Well, you know, the thought occurs to me that the message that Yoli has been leading this campaign and developing and carrying really applies to all our work. And it applies to the work of all of us in this room, in the sense that part of the job of the campaign is to understand that folks who live and work and worship in communities know and care for and love those communities a whole lot more than we do. And if we accept that, then our role in a campaign is to work with communities to envision bold goals for themselves. And at times to provide experiences and exposures that would strengthen and lift up those goals. That a part of our work is to work alongside communities in helping them to attain those goals. And a part of our work is to create moments and opportunities to mark progress, acknowledge milestones, and celebrate success. It feels to me as if this is such an occasion that what we've been hearing and learning and telling each other over the past few days is that each of these communities, each of you, have figured out how to take this third grade reading proficiency thing and make it your own and design a set of bold goals that work for your community and that we have found ways, especially with Ron Fairchild and his team, we have found ways to support your work as you've sought to attain those goals. And what this gathering is one of those moments that we can mark progress, acknowledge a milestone, and celebrate success. And so the first thing I want to do is to thank you all for allowing us to walk with you and to work with you through this process that brought us from 2012, June 2012, to June 2017, because we are here to mark progress and certainly to celebrate a whole lot of success. So give yourselves a round of applause. Now, one of the things we've learned, and you've probably seen this in this work, is that as we do this complicated work, we've got to figure out how to align increments of change with increments of time. And you've probably seen that play out. And you've probably seen it play out most as attendance has sort of surged ahead, because this whole notion of improving attendance and reducing chronic absence, that has given us a sense that you can measure the increment of progress in a definable and identifiable and a graspable increment of time. And that's one of the reasons why many of us are finding it easier to forge ahead with chronic absence and use that to move along the rest of the work. Well, we've learned that in this campaign that we've started and this movement that we're building, we've got to find what the increments of time are. And it turned out that 5 years worked. It turns out. And then we could all tell our children and grandchildren 10 years from now, we planned it, right? And they'll believe it. Well, why we are so grateful to the National Civic League is the National Civic League, by allowing us to share in the nation's oldest and most prestigious civic award, by allowing us to use 2012 to reward and acknowledge and recognize the folks who had developed the best plans, and then allowing us to come back 5 years later, allowing us to recognize the folks who have made significant progress against those plans. The National Civic League has given us the gift of time, an increment of time. And for that, we will always be grateful. And now let me ask the members of the board and the National Civic League, please stand. Please stand. Thank you very much. I have the assignment of introducing the chair of the board of directors of the National Civic League. I call him one of the unindicted co-conspirators, because Derek may be sitting in the chair now, but he was working closely with Gloria Rubio-Cortez when all this happened. And you heard me allude the other night that there were a few people behind the scenes, including the mayor and yet to be unnamed co-conspirator, who essentially got us here in 2012 and got us back in 2017. And I want to just acknowledge as Derek comes up here that you know that this guy is one of the co-conspirators, and we are so grateful for that. Derek is not only chair of the board of the National Civic League, executive director of the Agency for Human Rights and Community Partnerships for the city of Denver, and you heard Mayor Hancock calling out the other night. And on this sheet, they have prepared for me, telling me that he was a founder of the Big Brothers of Metropolitan Denver. He was appointed by the former governor, Roy Romer, as community liaison to Northeast Colorado. He served as the senior vice president of the National Civic League. He's been appointed in the mayor. Let me tell you, Derek has done just about everything one could do. So it is no surprise at all that he is chair of the board of the National Civic League. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, let me introduce you to Derek Okubo.
Good afternoon. Hopefully, over these last few days, you've enjoyed our Rocky Mountain City. Have you? I tell you, we've enjoyed having you. And it's just so exciting for us to have such world changers here in our city. Even if it is for a week, hopefully you'll come back and you'll spend more time, maybe even move here. Yeah, we'll see. So it has been an energizing few days, and when I look at this room, I see amazing examples of what our country can do to help our young people. You are all examples of that possibility. And I thank our incredible partner for this year's award, and from 2012, the Campaign for Grade Level Reading. And I also want to thank the rest of the National Civic League Board and the National Civic League staff for all your good work. It's a privilege for me to serve with you. And we want to thank our sponsors, particularly the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the All-America City Awards, Comcast, and so many others. I'm just so energized to work with all of you every day. Thank you. For some of you, you might know this, but the mission of the National Civic League is to advance civic engagement to build inclusive and thriving communities. One of our tools to achieve this mission is through the All-America City Awards, which we're now in our 68th year. The cities that receive this award demonstrate success in using civic engagement to make sure that everyone is at the table to achieve these important goals, like improved grade level reading for our children in our communities.